I hate to say it, but you might regret buying a house this year. Hey guys, today we're going to cover 5 important things to consider when purchasing a property this year. Today we're going to talk about lack of inventory, waiving inspections, interest rates, risk of overpaying, and if you overpay with plans to refinance in the near future. So the first thing we're going to talk about is lack of inventory. The lack of inventory in our market is clearly no secret. It's been going on for the last 3 to 4 years and there's no sign of stopping. So the real estate market in the greater Moncton area has had a lack of inventory for the better part of 3 years now. And the challenge with that is that buyers have a hard time purchasing a home. And if they do have the chance to do so, they might be looking at multiple offer situation, competing against other buyers. We are hovering around 800 homes in the greater Moncton area that are on the market. With those 800 homes, there's probably a big percentage of that is already under contract to purchase. So realistically, we probably only have on a day-to-day basis 300 to 400 available homes in the greater Moncton area. If you compare that to about 5 years ago when we had over 3,000 homes on the market, you can see that the supply and demand is a lot higher. So it's fairly obvious that we've had a lack of inventory for the past 3 to 4 years now. And the advantages and disadvantages to that is on the buyer's side will be a little bit more challenging to purchase a home or get a quote-unquote deal on a home. For the sellers, might be a bit more of an advantage in terms of getting more for your home, so more value. Prices, have been going up since 2020. So as it stands right now, the lack of inventory is basically putting us into a seller's market. However, we are leaning towards a more balanced market in the coming years. The second thing we're going to talk about today is waiving inspections. Home inspections are extremely important when purchasing a home, especially if the home is a lot older. There might be bigger issues involved. I always recommend to have an inspection clause in your purchase and sale agreement when purchasing a home. In the last couple of years, a lot of people have been waiving inspections because they were in the multiple offer situation and they still felt comfortable not putting an inspection clause on their offer. However, it can be quite a bit of a liability to do that since you don't know everything about the home and you might be missing something during your walkthrough or your visit at this particular home. Once again, I would always recommend to put an inspection in your purchase agreement. However, if you do feel comfortable in, let's say, purchasing a brand new construction home that is warranted and the builder is very reputable, that's the only time that I would consider maybe not having an actual home inspector go through the home. With that being said, there's always different scenarios when you're purchasing a home. Be very cautious when waiving an inspection. The third topic that we're going to talk about today is interest rates. So it's obvious that interest rates have been talked about quite a bit in the last couple of years, especially in Canada. We've gone through low interest rates through 2021 and climbed up from there. We climbed up probably right around the 6% mark. But now, in the last 12 months, we've been going down again. Rates have been going down to close to 4% at this point. We are also looking forward to the next Bank of Canada rate cut announcements, which will be coming in the next few months. Hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be hovering right around the mid 3s, and that will help with the buying power for most buyers. It's also very important to keep track of where the interest rate is. I know some people can get pre-approvals and they're locked in for, let's say, 60 to 90 days, depending on which bank or broker that you're dealing with. The most important part is to make sure your pre-approval is always active, but keep in mind that your rates could change during the home buying process if your pre-approval expires or rates change drastically. Number 4 on the list is the risk of overpaying. Now, this is a very subjective topic. I mean, who says that you're overpaying for a home, right? It depends on many things like how much do you want that house, who are you competing with. Those types of factors will potentially make or break your home purchase. Now, overpaying is risky in the sense of if you're planning on purchasing this home and living in it for 2 to 4 years, that is a higher risk than if you plan on staying in the home for, minimum 10 years. The risks are bigger because if you pay top dollar on the market, let's say, or even you overpay by $5,000 to $10,000, that might be a bigger risk if you plan on selling in 2 years, because the market could slow down a little bit and you could be on the downside of the market when you plan on selling, on top of paying a little bit more at this time. It is a bit of a lower risk if you plan on purchasing the home and keeping it for, let's say, 10 to 15 years. At that point, you've had a chance to build equity and pay off that mortgage quite a bit more than if you've only been there for the first couple of years. So that would be less of a risk overall. But that being said, it's very important to be aware of where the market is going and how it's currently going and what sold in that neighborhood and the average price points, because you never want to be the most expensive home in your neighborhood by far. That needs to be kept in mind. The fifth step, overpaying with plans to refinance. If you plan on purchasing any type of property and in the next 2 to 4 years, you want to refinance to take out some equity, put into another property, or whatever the case may be, overpaying for a home or potentially overpaying for a home or a property is very risky, because if you have plans or you need that money in the future, there's no guarantee of getting it. Between now and the next few years, the market could go into a little slump or go down a bit, which will inevitably eat up some of your equity and potentially most of it, which would make you over leveraged on that property, and that's never something you want. So with that being said, you got to be very careful when purchasing a property with that type of plan to refinance in the future. So with that, you have to consider everything we talked about today if you don't want to regret buying a home this year. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope this helps you. If you need more help into the buying or selling process, I'd love to help you out. You can either comment below or click on the link to book a call with me. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you next time.